Everyone, and welcome to Everybody's Doing Podcasts. I don't know what's up with this whole podcast thing, or whatever else. So I thought maybe I would start some, videos about what I like in RPGs. So basically, I'm going to talk about 13th Age. I just got my new 13th Age Game Master Screen and Resource Book. Ooh. It's got a lot of good things in here. I've been running 13th Age since it came out a year ago. Then there was only just the core rule book, which is here, but it had a lot of the base classes and stuff. But there was a lot of classes that were lacking. They didn't have like the monk, they didn't have the druid, they didn't have the necromancer, they didn't have an occultist, they didn't have like any cool things, but they did have all the core stuff like you had your barbarian, you had your cleric, you had your thief, you had your paladin, you had your fighter. You had enough classes they could build pretty much a pretty decent campaign off of the classes they gave you. And of course, 13th Age handled 13 different types of icon relationships. Since that time, I was introduced by a friend, Daryl Hayhurst, introduced me to this system. I thought it was really cool because it's more of a storytelling game than it is a dice rolling game, which is something that I really like and have been looking for a long time. The other cool thing that I like about it is instead of having to deal with the whole divinity thing between gods and have the argument at your table about different religions and how they work and that type of thing. Instead, they basically do icon relationships. And I look at icon relationships as they could be a divine being, but they also could be a most powerful, influential person that's currently in the world. Like one of theirs is the Dragon Emperor, is a powerful emperor. He's he's the leader of the Dragon Empire. So yeah, that makes sense for him to be an icon. The Great Gold Worm is another icon, which could be, a divine dragon of sorts, or you could literally take that and say, hey, I'm taking the concept and going and making my own, like Osgood Norwood has always been in my campaigns of Earl as the divine creator of all things, and him with the world Pantheria, which also rises up the mother that we live on, which also takes Gaia, which is what I named her. There's an entity that rises up out of her that becomes a woman, that becomes a deity, and that's basically my version of the Earth Goddess. So basically you have a divine being coming upon a planet and literally settling on that planet and creating life out of that planet and creating a woman for himself. And basically from them, life spawns, and the creation of life between the two coming together, it spawns a whole new world and a whole new creation myth. So that's basically a quick version of my world. Going on, there's a lot of different aspects to it. They have their organized play system, which I've been working on and are playing with and doing a lot of play tests with them. The cool thing that I like most, I think, about 13th Age, and yes, I'm moving the camera around, and yes, I am sitting in my apartment today. Nice, cozy apartment. Thank you, Drew, for putting up with me. Anyway, the cool thing that I like about 13th Age is that you can literally run an improvisation. If you have nothing prepped and your players are just like, so what are we doing today? And I go, I don't know, what are we doing today? What is your character doing today? Let's say that they're not on a current adventure. They're like they're huddled together in a tavern and there's nothing on the horizon. So, what do you do for the session? Well, that's the nice thing about 13th Age is you let your players tell you what their characters are doing. So it's more of a role play than it is necessarily hard mechanics. Now, there are mechanics for dice rolling that allow you to, make certain skill checks. But instead of having a group of skills that you invest in, instead they do broad backgrounds. Like, for instance, you could be an Imperial Legionnaire. You could be if you're a Golden Paladin, you could be a Paladin of the Golden Order. You could be an Archivist, Unnatural Undead Lore, for instance. So you're an Archivist of Unnatural Undead Lore. And that could, anything that would qualify, hey, I'm an Archivist. I'm archiving any type of unnatural or undead lore. I think this creature is undead, so therefore I'm going to try to record. And then they test to see how much that they could record in their book or get out of their book from their archives. And then you as the GM basically go, okay, you can ask 1 or 2 or 3 questions about this particular creature and get some type of true answer about what this creature really is. So that's kind of cool in a nutshell there. I've enjoyed running the game. The game has improved greatly over the last year. 13 True Ways came out, and the cool thing about 13 True Ways is there was a lot of fixes that were done to the core rulebook, such as multi-classing. Multi-classing was very difficult in the beginning, but now it's really cool. The concept of multi-classing is you basically become an adept in one class and an initiate in another class, and you only get 2 talents, but you're adept at that one talent and you're initiate in the other talent, and then you just use those 2 talents to gain additional benefits that are not normally available to a single class character. So it kind of puts a new spin and a new dynamic. And one of the cool things about it is when 13 True Ways came out, the Druid class was really missing, and everyone was wanting to play Druids, asking for Druids. Some people actually were creating their own version of the Druid for the game. And they basically came out with this awesome Druid class that literally you could build 7 different Druids, each Druid with a different power, and literally never crisscross any of the powers of the other players until they have a total Druidic campaign of 7 Druids with wielding 7 powers that are different from everyone else, which I thought was really an awesome concept. And yes, maybe I will do something like that in the future. Who knows? I got a good gaming group going at I Love Games, which is awesome. There's a lot of people that have been dropping in, dropping out due to things, and one day 16 people showed up, and I'm like, oh my god. So I had to waitlist some people, but until I can find another GM. So if you're seeing this, you want to check out 13th Age, or you are already playing 13th Age and you want to GM, come see me at Isle of Games, or you can get a hold of me through Facebook, obviously. I'm usually on Facebook. I'm usually available. My phone, I got me a new phone, everyone. You can find my phone number on my Facebook page if you're interested. Most of you I've already contacted. And given my new number too, but for those that didn't have my number, a lot of people's been finding it on my Facebook. Only my friends can find it on my Facebook. It is not public knowledge. So if you are my friend, you are seeing this, yes, my phone number is on my Facebook, but you gotta go find it. Ooh. So it's a treasure hunt. So let's see if you are smart enough in how to use Facebook, and let's see if you can actually find my phone number and actually give me a call. Then I'll know that you're a true friend. Anyway, what else about 13th Age? I'm getting off the subject, aren't Let's see here. What else about 13th Age? And normally these podcasts um, last for like hours or like an hour or something. So I'm like at 10 minutes right now. And I don't know how long this video will last. So I'm just going to go with it until the video ends, however long that is. Anyway, what about 13th Age? Well, the new Game Master's resource screen and resource guide came out, and the cool thing about the actual screen is it's got a lot of cool tables and everything, including GM stuff to remember, and it's a lot of stuff that I've been forgetting. So I'm kind of grateful that they stick that on. What I'm not too sure about is it is kind of thin. It's not like thick. So it might be able to tear up easily. So that, but I do like the artwork. It looks really cool. Everybody can see that. It's definitely, if you are a GM playing 13th Age, running 13th Age, the Game Master's screen and resource book is definitely a must to pick up because of the fact that I'm reading through and just using icon relationship dice. There's 5 pages worth of stuff that you can literally do, including the alternative rules that we have been using, the alternative icon system that I've been using, that I've been using for my group and submitting to the playtest. That I felt that 5 or 6, you know, when you roll relationship dice, only 5s or 6s were mattering. And I'm like, what about 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s? They should matter. I mean, they should matter, you know. So how I've been doing it is if a person rolls a 1 or 2 with the relationship dice, instead of picking what relationship they're rolling for, they roll their dice. So they basically go, okay, well, I'm going to roll my dice for each one, and then I let them assign their dice, so they have their dice pool of their icons. And maybe this is, you know, unbalanced or whatever else, but it's been working out well for my group. So I'm having them roll all of their relationship dice at the beginning of the session or whenever they choose. So instead of just rolling relationship dice constantly at the beginning of every session, I allow them to either roll icon relationship dice at character creation when they first go up, let them pick which dice they want to assign to which character. So like for instance, one guy literally rolled right in front of me a 6, a 6, and a 5. I could not believe it. And he was like, wow, could you imagine if I rolled 6, 6, 6? So I said, well, where do you want to put your 2 6s and where do you want to put your 5? And so he put his 5 on his conflicted, his 5 on his negative, and then he put his 6 on his conflicted and a 6 on his positive. And excuse me, he had 3 positive relationship dice with the Orc Lord. That's what it was. And so he goes, well, I have a positive relationship with only the Orc Lord, so I get 3 dice, and I got 6, 6, 5. So what do I get out of that? So he got some pretty cool stuff out of that. But basically, how I run 13th Age is, so if they roll a 1 or 2, it applies to their negative. If they roll like a 3, 4, I apply it to their conflicted. If they roll a 5 or 6, I apply it to their positive if they're unsure. But the alternate system that they have in here is pretty much what I've been running. So I mean, it's really a good system. I'm really liking it. I have all the 13th Age monthlies. I have purchased a lot of open content stuff. There's also at the Vault. There's a lot of open content for free. I mean, Finn Delver has really been working overtime to create open content on his Patreon stuff, and I've been really looking at a lot of his stuff and downloading his books and I'm like, wow, he's really doing a lot of good stuff. And I'm currently working on what I want to do in rebuilding Erland. In 13th Age, I'm not quite there yet to actually put anything out at the moment. I am trying to kickstart my realm, and there's some things that are happening. I am definitely using 13th Age to kickstart my realm again. So for those of you who know me and have played Pantheria with me, the Pantherian Realm campaigns with me, yes, 13th Age is definitely one. I know one person out there who's using the D6 system, and you know what? If that's working great for you guys, awesome. I'm happy that someone else is actually having adventures in Erland without me. That's kind of cool. So, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only GM. He actually is one of my players that played with me in Flagstaff and helped create most of what we had. So he's informed me that he's been using D6 Fantasy and D6 Space and all the D6 system from West End Games, and basically likes it really well, and that he just invested his money in the D6 system to make it more Coda system based for his players, since that's what we originally redid everything with, and then Decipher went out of business, which was sad. So there was nothing new. However, there is Patrick does have a website up, and you can find the links at Star Trek Voyage Earl. For those of you who are looking on my Facebook page, we have a new page called Star Trek Voyage Earl, and there's a lot of RPG links there that will take you. Also, my new website is up and running. It's a free website. There's not a whole lot of content there yet. We're still trying to figure out what we want to do with the website. Right now, it's just, as always, dictating my current adventures. Me playing D&D is on there. Tuscon 42 picks are on there. Comic-Con picks are on there. So major events are going on there that I've been participating in. The daily events, not so much. Most of my daily events hit Facebook pages. So if you really want to know what's really going on with me, just keep up with my Facebook page. Like my videos are only available on my Facebook page. So unless you, but they are public. So I'm making my videos public for whoever comes by or whatever else. They're not just for my friends; they're public as well. Basically informative stuff. So I'm having a lot of fun with 13th Age. A lot of my players like 13th Age. We got a lot of new players in who play RPGs, and one guy really likes the system. We're doing a playtest right now. And everybody's like, well, wait, this is a playtest. This isn't quite right. So, listen to your players, GMs out there, when running 13th Age, because we've run into several problems, which have had to have some fixes. And also, I'm still learning a lot of the rules that I haven't been using that we're coming up on and that keep creeping up in our games. And we're like, okay, so how does this work? And then so we discuss it. And the cool thing about my group is I let the group discuss it, and then say, okay, me as the GM, I either have to make a final decision, because after all, I am there to referee. So either I have to make the final decision, or I leave it to the table vote. And usually, if I think that everybody can agree on a table vote, and then if the table vote is 50-50 and I'm the tiebreaker, I'll say, okay, let's do it this way. Or perhaps we could take the two ideas and meld them, and that's what we try to do, and we try to think outside the box, and we try to help each other problem solve core mechanics, and then we go on, and then whatever we decide that's what is going to happen, that's what's going to happen for our group. From that point forward, done. That's the rule we use. So there's a lot of improvisation and a lot of I guess you could say a lot of improvisation rules that me and my players do that are probably somewhat balanced or unbalanced. But even with having guys that do play min-max characters, they're trying to wrap their heads around 13th Age, and even I am trying to wrap, because I mean some of the 13 True Ways has a lot of more complicated classes. So if you really are a person that really likes advanced classes, definitely pick up 13 True Ways. It has some really cool options in there. There's a lot of multi-classing that you can do. There's a lot of other things you can do with 13th Age. Right now, I will give you a list of all of the classes. All of the classes that are currently out. They're available in the main rulebook, or also available at 13th Age SRD. So all you got to do is type in 13th Age SRD, and you'll get all the base classes, which is really cool. You get all the race options from the SRD, and that really is enough. There's enough of the rules there that you could really build a total campaign off of those rules. But you will still need to, if you want to know more about, and if you're just doing it for your own setting, fine, go to 13th Age SRD. You're done. That's all you need. But if you're wanting extra classes, you're wanting the fluff, you're basically a fan like I am, because obviously I am a fan now, you'll definitely want to pick up the rulebook that has all the base classes in there and all the race options that are at SRD. But there's a lot of wealth of other information and creatures that are in here that are not. So that's the bonus there. And then there's a lot of creatures that are. 13 True Ways. You will not see any of the classes on either the Vault that are in here, 13th Age Vault, or the SRD. So you definitely want to pick up 13 True Ways if you want to get the Monk class, the Druid class, the Necromancer class, the Occultist class, and the Commander class, and the Chaos Mage class, are all that is in here. And there's just tons of options for all of them. I haven't had anyone try the Chaos Mage yet, but the Chaos Mage, going through it or whatever else, really looks like it's quite a complicated class. Also, the Druid is a very complicated class. However, I do have a PC that has been that likes Druids, and she's been reading up on the rules for Druids and actually been creating different Druids with different outcomes, and then play testing them and seeing how they work, or seeing what works with what. So that's kind of cool there. So she's kind of helping me with the Druid classes. Then I have other players that are just, they say if it's printed, it's legal. So I'm allowing anything that's printed. Also, I'm allowing for my games anything that is at the Vault that I think is play balanced, I will check out. Some of my players have pulled stuff off the Vault that I thought, hey, this would be cool. Somebody want to play this type of character. So there's a lot of stuff going on. For those that are probably interested in what I've actually pulled from the Vault to use, Fendelwer, I've used a lot of your stuff. You have a lot of good stuff. Keep it up. If I could afford it, I would become a patron. But I can't afford it right now, even $1. $1 is basically, I can spend $1 to get 5 packs of Roman noodles to keep me eating for 5 more days, or I could, donate $1 to you to get 5 more packs of ramen noodles and have a say in some of your stuff that you do. But also, I like creating my own open game content, and most of what I'm creating, most of what you're creating is good, and it's okay to use, but a lot of what you're creating is not quite exactly what I would necessarily use in an Erland campaign. And eventually, I am going to eventually come out with a full campaign setting for Erland using the Archmage system and using the OGL and the SRDs, and actually putting together classes that I have used in the past that are currently not available for 13th Age. I'm not going to say what classes those are because I don't want to jump the gun, but they are classes that are the core of my campaign. And although everything that has been printed so far can be used in Erland, there are certain things that I want to use for Erland this time around that are not in 13th Age. And so what I want to do is create some original open game content based off of those OGL SRDs, using the Wizards of the Coast 3.5 doc, using Pazio's Pathfinder docs. So just keeping it to the OGL and SRDs. So I'm working on those right now. They're not even ready to be play tested. When they are ready to be play tested, I will probably have my group play test them first, correct any balances that we need, and then once I feel that they are comfortable enough to get public criticism, then I will be posting to the vault under open content, like Fandelver is doing. And but I'm not going to set up a Patreon account. I'm not going to do any of that. I may use my website to do stuff first if I choose to do that under, and just keep it OGL SRD. But that would be more specific to Erland, to do an Erland under a OGL SRD using the Archmage system and the 13th Age system, without using any of their original content or anything. This would be my personal campaign that I've started building and running since 2000 through 2016, is basically the revamped. And so that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm in the, well, not just thinking about doing it, I'm in the current process of doing it, so that's totally there. What else do I want to do? That's pretty much it. I mean, I really like 13th Age. I really do. It's a system that is very open-ended. You can pretty much do whatever you want in there. The personality quirks on the magic items is pretty funny. There's the whole book of loot that's out in case nobody has it. Pick it up. It's got tons of magic items that you can use in your campaign. There's bonus stuff that you can use in the 13th Age monthlies. They actually condensed the 13 icons into 7 icons. I condensed up further into 6 icons. So for Erland, so that's kind of cool. There's a lot of other things that are going on. So anyway, yes, I'm rubbing my eyes. Yes, I have a headache. Yes, I am tired. Yes, I look like a freaking hairy whatever. I understand that. But, and of course I'm trying to just have fun and do stuff. So be looking for more of these, I guess, RPG podcast videos that I'm doing. Maybe I should have like a cool intro something or whatever else that says kind of like what Ice-T has, or kind of like what Ric Flair has with Woo Nation or something like that. Well, guess what? For right now, I'm doing just a regular video, me in my apartment, having fun, reading through 13th Age, and prepping for tomorrow night. Because we run 13th Age every Tuesday at Isle of Games from 5, starting at 5, and we go until about 8 or 9. So that's kind of cool. So if you're interested, drop by. I do have a full table, but I could use an extra GM to fill up a second table if anyone is interested. So with that, I will say have a good day and goodbye. And yeah, this is a 30-minute video, so have fun watching it. Have a good day, everyone.